Hello, everybody. Give people a minute to join me. Hi. I can't see who's on. I just see a number. Hey, Irene. Yeah, if you want to say hi, pop a comment in the thread so I know who's here, because it's not really telling me unless you say hi. Thank you. I'm actually I'm on the San Joaquin River in Central California. This is where I grew up. My family lives here, and I wish I could take you down to the river. You can see it right back there. It's really beautiful. It's just like, yeah, super, super, super beautiful. And but the Wi-Fi probably doesn't reach that far. Hey, Dorta. Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. So, I was asked to do a little video, and I know there's been lots of, Facebook Lives, and we're doing a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday this week. I was flying yesterday. But about this amazing class, the Foundation, and tools from Foundation that are, I've used, and just, I love hearing stories. I love stories because they just really, there's sort of no better way to convey how this stuff works, than to share stories. And so I guess I don't even have like a specific tool, but what I do want to talk about is living. And the Foundation class for me, I always say, my life kind of is divided into two very distinct segments or sections or whatever. And there's before Foundation, BF and AF, right? So before Foundation, which to me was, I think I did my first Foundation in 2012, maybe. I think it was 2012. My life before was okay, but I struggled a lot. I was a single mom, and I had some very crazy kids. They were very little when I got divorced. They were 1 and 3, and it just, they were just. My life was just. I created a lot of struggle in my life, honestly, because of the points of view that I had, and this is something that we don't really realize. And as we do, you take the Foundation class, it's like, there's all these amazing tools, and you start to use them, and you create this energetic change in your own life. And that's the thing, is like, the tools for me are really the value of the tools, and the purpose of the tools is to create an energetic change that allows for a lot, like, just vastly different possibilities. And so I started using the tools, and even now, like, I feel like just like I'm just sort of starting to see how the tools in the Foundation class are actually the only tools that you need to have a completely different reality. And all of the other classes after Foundation really allow you to, they invite you in different ways with different conversations in different areas of your life to be the tools in Foundation. And I've probably, like, either taken or facilitated Foundation maybe, I don't know, 25 or 30 times. Like, it's like a class that I always come back to. And it's funny because, I've been doing Access for a really long time, and it it no, whatever that is, but just I've taken like lots and lots and lots and lots of classes, way more than I could ever count. And just recently, in the past couple of weeks, I did a Being You facilitator class on the 7-day that occurred in the past 2 weeks. And those classes, for me, like really kind of propelled me into this space of being and relaxation and living in a way that has never been before for me. And it's like, oh, wow. And so I look at the foundation and I'm like, everything that is available in the foundation just got like deepened and expanded for me. And I would say, like, if I had to say like what's my favorite tool from the foundation manual, I would say interesting point of view. And it's one that like very few people actually choose it, like in terms of being it, like using it in such a way that it really creates an energetic change for you. We kind of give lip service to it and we're like, oh yeah, interesting point of view, but when you be interesting point of view, it's like the magic and the miracles that are available is phenomenal. And the thing is that you have to like, when the tool is its most valuable is when you don't want to fucking let go of your point of view. When you're just like, no, I like this point of view. I want to have it. I love the trauma and the drama that it creates for me. I love resisting people, or I love aligning with people, or I love that I've gotten it right, or I love that I've gotten it wrong, and so we don't really like, there are these points of view that we just don't want to give up, and that's the moment where it's like going, okay, even if this is like a quote unquote positive point of view, you think it's creating something for you, it still is like, your life is still going to get greater if you give it up, if you let go and you actually get to be the space of you rather than the definition of you, which your points of view really are they're what we use to define ourselves. So I would say that's my favorite tool, and kind of like, in a way, it's almost like the only tool you really need if you're willing to be it. And of course, I love the like nuances and the subtleties and the like just incredible possibility of all the tools, and using all of them. But they also don't really work if you're not being interesting point of view. Like, you have to actually have the choice for something different, and the willingness to have something different, and the willingness to not be defined, in order to create the change that you would like to have. And so let's talk a little bit about living. And I don't have a timer, so I was going to do maybe 20 minutes, but I have no idea how long I've been talking. So we'll just do a little piece about living. Because to me, living is where all of this shows up, and where we get to where we really get to put the tools into action, and we also get to see the possibilities that are available to us. And so to me, living is this like very dynamic space of choice and possibility and being and receiving and engagement with like the beauty of the world around us and the earth and the universe and what's available, and it's like, living on this planet is like, this is just it's so beautiful, the earth is so incredible. And it's actually like, even with everything that's going on right now, it's such an abundant playground for getting like the privilege of being a physical being, like having a body and getting to live, and we talk about the distractor, life and living both being a distractor implant, but life is really like an end game and a conclusion and a destination and a goal and something that's never going to really be a space of possibilities for you. Living is this like dynamic engagement with the world around you, into more possibility and into more choice and into more creation. And when you are willing to allow the world, the universe, to contribute to you, and your life, your living becomes this like active space of receiving and contribution and miraculousness. It's just, it's phenomenal what shows up. And we think so often that we have to like make shit happen, you know. It's like, and you start this play with the tools of access, and it's like, okay, so there's, you know, there's the money tools, and there's the parenting tools, and there's the body tools, and you know, we come from the perspective of this reality where it's like, we really, you know, the idea is, you know, well, if I could have more money, and if I could have a better relationship, and my body could be better, and my, you know, all these areas of life, we tick off the boxes, and we're like, okay, cool. So I can use these tools for this, and use these tools to grow my business, and use these tools to grow my money flows, and da da da. And so there's a way where you can kind of like, you could still very easily, and a lot of people do, and it's not wrong in any way, you can approach the like check boxes of your life with the tools and go, okay, cool, I'm going to apply this and make more money. I'm going to apply this and blah, blah, blah. And that works, you know, that's the beauty of the tools, is that they work. And but the thing is what happens is we sort of continue to operate from the lens of this reality when we do that, where we're like, okay, so I'm going to change my money. I'm going to change my body. I'm going to change my, you know, and there's this amazing thing that like the choice for living creates, where you sort of like zoom out from all of that, you know, and you start to take on this totally different perspective of, okay, so like, it's like creating a future for you and the world and consciousness, which is absolutely available to us with all the tools in Foundation. But this sense of like these energies that we begin to perceive and ask for, and I would say like, you know, there's an ESB class coming up, like, and there's a Being You class, both in the next couple of weeks. Amazing classes to start to have more of this kind of like energetic, like engagement. Dane calls it applied energetics, like basically like living the energetic being that you be, and the energetic awareness that you have of the world as a being. And from there, it's like you can start to just play with all the energies, you know. And so, and it's sort of like, I call it zooming out, because it's like you start to take this kind of bird's eye view and go, cool, like I just like phenomenal life and living, like enjoyment of the earth, enjoyment of my body, enjoyment of like the beauty of what this earth has to offer, and you know, phenomenal people in my life, like you, and even that is giving it some definition. But it's like when you start to ask for those things, and you get out of the specifics, and you really start to play with the future of like what you actually, because beyond the like, I want to create more money, I want to change my body, I want to, you know, beyond that is like probably the thing that brought you to Access in the first place, which is your awareness and your knowing that there's a different possibility, and like for the world, you know. And so many of us grew up looking around going, is this it? You know, like I know for me, I was just like, is this it? Like, you know, like this is just so, I don't, like, this is boring, you know. I'm not all that interested in like, you know, the whole distraction reality of like, you grow up, you go to college, you get a family, you get a job, you know, you live for many decades, like doing the same thing every day and having your children and your whatever, your 2.5, you know, dogs and houses and, you know, and then you retire and then you die. And that was never a goal for me. It was never something that I really wanted. And it wasn't that I didn't want it, but it was just like, oh, what else, you know? And I didn't know what else. I didn't know what else there was, because I at that point in my life didn't have the courage to really kind of perceive and choose what I knew energetically, because it doesn't have any definition, you know, but just energetically what I knew I could have, and what living could actually be. And, I thank goodness for Gary Douglas and Dane Here and, everybody playing with access consciousness, and inviting people to something different, because that started to, kind of show me what I could be, like what I knew already, what I could be asking for and what I could be choosing. And then, it's like, oh, there's these universes of possibility that exist only through our awareness and our energetic sense of the world and our being, that don't actually have a definition, or I can't quantify them. I can't put them on a checklist, but I can play with those energies, And this is why if you, do an ESB, do an SOP, do a million of them, because those, and all the being classes, they really get you into that space of trusting your awareness and knowing what you know and knowing that and knowing that everything that you know can't actually be defined, and that's not a problem. It's like, it's just a choice to have something totally different than the rest of the world and be like, yeah, I'm going, like, I know what I'm asking for and I'm creating, and could I tell you? Well, not really, but that's the beauty of it, is that I couldn't actually put it into words. And to me, living is like waking up every day and going, cool, like what's available today, and how much fun would I like to have today, and what would I like to create today, and like how much beauty, it's just even that question of like, who am I today, and what grand and glorious adventures can I have? Universe, show me something beautiful today. And then the willingness to get out of your head and to get out of your predetermined reality and to get out of seeking, which is something that I feel like I'm just starting to perceive and to be and to have, is like, oh, I don't have to seek anything, And that's been like, I mean, probably like hundreds of access classes later, after my first foundation. There's the before foundation and the after foundation. And all of it just gets greater all the time. But recently I've just been like, wow, I don't actually have to seek anything. I don't have to like try so hard to create more money or try so hard to like work on my whatever, it's like I can choose this, like these energies that don't have the definition, and they may not seem like they're about money specifically or bodies or whatever, but I can choose these energies and get up and be like, what's going on today, universe? Like, and be in the delight of it and the adventure of it and the discovery of it. And as I do, the money shows up, the body changes show up, that whatever those things on the tick list, that you're asking for, they just occur, and this is the coolest thing, is like when you take your, energy and your like intense attention off of, I got to change this, I got to change this, I got to change this, or I got to have more or whatever. And you put it on to the energies of the future and the like, the energy of living, and like really living, you get to be in this sort of like, well, we talked about this actually recently at the 7-Day, this idea of collaborating with the universe. And this is where you begin to collaborate with the universe to create something that only you can create and only you know. And this is where the tools of the foundation absolutely come into play, like the 10 keys and going beyond the distractor implants. And, these are some like, they're actually like the most advanced tools in Access, even though they're in the first class, or the first, like second, whatever. Because to choose to live beyond distraction, to choose to live the 10 keys, to choose to live from an interesting point of view, that's a massive choice. And not to make it significant, but it's a really big choice, because you have to be willing to be so different from the world around you. And the thing is that I guess I'll finish with here is that you, when you do choose to go beyond those things, or actually I would say, like when you choose to live and you get to have the joy of it, and like getting out of all the seeking and all that stuff. And you're like, cool, I'm just going to go for what I know. And I'm going to be these tools. I'm going to use these tools, and I'm going to let them continue to filter into my life and allow myself to continue to be them all the time, more and more every day. There's like, it's like you discover, like, this has been my thing lately where I'm like, oh geez, I've been working really hard to like refuse receiving and being, and to refuse magic and miracles, like the very things that I've been asking for, I've actually been working really hard to refuse, which is hilarious, and we realize that. And then it's like, wow, okay, cool. More of those foundation tools, more of the 10 keys, more of the living as the question, more of the choosing every 10 seconds, more of the being interesting point of view, more of the functioning as an infinite being, less of the distraction of all the emotions and the busyness of business and the conclusion of life and the, less of the distraction of that, more of the space of me. And all of these tools give you that. So as I do, I'm really bad at following directions and sticking to like a tool or a topic. I just sort of ramble. But I hope I've given you just some energies to play with and some choices to play with, and know that like none of this will really, it's not going to work through your cognitive mind. It's the choice to actually not be cognitive and not have a mind that also the tools in the foundation really create. And that's probably why my life changed so much after that class, is because this huge swath of my where I was functioning from got deleted. And, we actually say it's called the foundation class because we destroy the foundation, the solid foundation that we've been, living from, and the non-living living, functioning from. We destroy the foundation with this class. It's not the building of a foundation, it's the destruction of the solid foundation, so that you have this space from which to function that doesn't require a solid foundation, because you're an infinite being. And that's the gift of these conversations and these tools and these classes, is we just get more of it all the time. And it may be a foundation class, it may be an SOP class, it may be, you never know what's going to give you more of you. And I would say for me, it's like, it's all giving me more of me. But that's where we just, keep going, keep playing, keep choosing, and know that today, I love this. Dane always says, like, what if today is like the most limited day of your future, which is so cool. And all you have to do is just use the tools and be the tools as much as possible to create that, like, an ever expanding and growing and evolving future. And what if you could relax into the joy of it and having fun instead of trying to get somewhere? Just relax and have fun, and be aware when you're doing distraction, be aware when you could ask more questions, but relax and have fun and enjoy the world around you. Ask the universe to show you something beautiful today. Get out of your points of view, and it'll just keep going and going and going. We're creating a future that we don't often realize. And boy, is that a cool thing. We don't have to cognitize it. It's all occurring energetically all the time, the more we choose. So thanks, guys, for being here. Thanks for being you. Thanks for being on this adventure of consciousness. And what the fuck else is possible? And how does it get better? Have a grand and glorious day. Bye.